Hey gardeners, Amy here with Garden Up and my lovely assistant Elowen. Today I want to talk about this really fantastic weed right here. This is called Bittersweet Nightshade or Solanum dulcimara. So this is actually one of my favorite weeds because it's so cool. The leaves are just so unique. They have this big wide lobe and then these little lobes off to the side. And I just think that's really neat. I've never seen another plant look like that before. Then the flowers, typical of the Solanaceae family, okay, that's the tomato and nightshade family. They are star-shaped. In this case, they are purple, and they have these big, bright yellow stamens. They're just so cool. And then they produce these red berries, which are poisonous. But depending on which reference you look at, you'll get different levels of toxicity. I've never eaten one. But the common name bittersweet nightshade is supposed to come from the initial taste is bitter and then the aftertaste is sweet. I don't have the guts to try it because I know it's poisonous, so I'm just not gonna. I used to let this plant kind of grow in a few places in my yard because I love it so much. And my older daughter, I could just say, don't eat that, it'll make you sick. And she wouldn't. It was great. This one, on the other hand, not so much the case. She puts everything in her mouth. So at this point, especially since she's now mobile, and there's grapes right behind here, there's tomatoes right over there, there's raspberries right over there, all kinds of things that she's welcome to go pick off the plants and eat. This one I now need to get out of my yard, at least for the time being, until she's old enough to understand not to eat everything. So let's talk about how to identify it, why it's a weed, and then we'll talk about how to remove it. So this plant is considered a weed. It's not native to the United States, but it's not on Washington's noxious weed list, which is one of the reasons I felt okay leaving it. I do see a lot of insects on it. There's lots of pollinators that like the flowers, and there's birds and things that eat the berries. They may or may not be nutritionally complete for our birds. I'm not sure on that one. But again, I just love the way it grows. It's a vining, bushy plant, depending on if it has something to cling to. So right here, it's more like a bush, but it's growing up on the stick of another plant that I probably stuck in here to overwinter or something and never dug out. So this one has a lot of common names. Get ready for a scrolling list. Here it is. You've got bittersweet, bittersweet nightshade, bitter nightshade, blue bindweed, Amara dulcis, climbing nightshade, felonwort, spelled 3 different ways, poisonberry, poisonflower, scarlet berry, snakeberry, trailing bittersweet, trailing nightshade, violet bloom, and woody nightshade. So I used to actually think that this one is deadly nightshade, which has a vast and fascinating history. It is not deadly nightshade. It is not quite that level of poisonous. It will make you sick, but it won't kill you, most likely. You'll probably get sick of eating it before it gets to that point. But like I said, I have yet to actually taste it because I'm not that interested. Solanum dulcimara is native to Europe and Asia and widely naturalized elsewhere, including North America. Here's the Bonap map. It occurs in a very wide range of habitats from woodlands to scrublands, hedges, and marshes. Solanum dulcimara is a semi-woody, herbaceous perennial vine which scrambles over other plants, capable of reaching a height of 4 meters where suitable support is available. But more often, it's about 1 to 2 meters high. The leaves are 4 to 12 centimeters long, roughly arrowhead-shaped, and often lobed at the base. The flowers are in loose clusters of 3 to 20, each 1 to 1.5 centimeters across, star-shaped with 5 purple petals and yellow stamens, and a style pointing forward. The fruit is an ovoid red berry about 1 centimeter long, soft and juicy with the aspect and odor of a tiny tomato, and edible for some birds, which disperse the seeds widely. That's how it spreads everywhere, by the way, is the birds will eat the seeds, and they'll take them and poop them out with a healthy dose of fertilizer, and that's how it probably came to your garden in the first place. The stems are many-branched and may be smooth to sparsely hairy. The young stems are purple and then turn greenish-brown and do not have tendrils. The lower stems are woody. The stems are stiff, erect, and climbing with a hollow pith and single bundle scar. When the stems are crushed or bruised, they have an unpleasant odor. The berry is poisonous to humans and to livestock. And because it looks so juicy and so much like a tomato and many other edible berries, it can be really dangerous for kids because they think it's okay to eat. Looks a lot like a tomato or a strawberry or several other things that are round and ovoid and red. It is native to northern Africa, Europe, and Asia, but has spread throughout the world. The plant is relatively important in the diet of some species of birds, such as European thrushes, which feed on its fruits, being immune to its poisons, and they scatter the seeds abroad. It grows in all types of terrain with a preference for wetlands and the understory of riparian forests. Along with other climbers, it creates a dark and impenetrable shelter for various animals. The plant does well in somewhat dark areas where it has partial sunlight in the morning or the afternoon. Bright light actually reduces its development. It grows more easily in rich, wet soils with plenty of nitrogen. When grown for medicinal purposes, it is best grown in a dry, exposed environment. There's some really cool history with this plant, so I'd like to mention this as well. Solanum dulcamara has been valued by herbalists since ancient Greek times. In the Middle Ages, the plant was thought to be effective against witchcraft and was sometimes hung around the neck of cattle to protect them from the evil eye. It has been suggested that the plant was used both medicinally and to induce altered states of mind in Anglo-Saxon England. John Gerard's Herbal in 1597 states that the juice is good for those that have fallen from high places and have been thereby bruised or beaten, for it is thought to dissolve blood congealed or cluttered anywhere in the entrails and to heal the hurt places. It actually does thin your blood, that's why it's poisonous. He wasn't wrong! This plant is actually one of the less poisonous members of the Solanaceae family. Instances of poisoning in humans are very rare on account of the fruit's intensely bitter taste. Incidentally, the fruit has been reported to have a sweet aftertaste, hence the vernacular name, bittersweet. So I've got a few challenges here. One is that the nightshade is mixed in with my grapes, my witch hazel, and some soapwort, so it's all mixed together. And then two, the real challenge with this weed is the very fine fibrous root system. It has a real fine, like almost a hair for a root, and the roots can regrow. So you got to get the whole root and good luck. So that's one of the other reasons I haven't bothered taking it out, because I knew I probably wouldn't be able. But now I'm motivated, now I can do it. So what I'm going to do is cut off all the top rows away from the plants that I want to keep so that I can see what I'm doing and I can find where this plant is even coming from. This is the target, and it's growing right out of my witch hazel. So there's one strong taproot, which I broke, and a bunch of small fibrous roots. The only thing from here that I don't want to dig up is my witch hazel. That's the one thing I want to keep. So I'm fine with digging up the soapwort, and the target is the nightshade. Oh, look, more campanula. It's back. I'm going to try to follow one root at a time, but man, it's branching off a lot. There we go. See how long this root is? This was after a couple of feet from the plant. Yeah, from here. We're on 4 feet. I'm breaking it all over the place. It's not good. This is longer than I am tall, which is 5 feet. So, yeah, that's why these are hard to get rid of. I'm going to take what I've gotten and put it in my bucket and just kind of keep working. So this root is almost as tall as me, about 4 feet. These are the roots that can regrow, though. I don't know that these have enough meristematic tissue to come back. It's these wide ones. Each one of these little bumps could be a node potential with the potential to regrow. So that's why these are so important to get out of the ground if your intention is to remove this plant. That's actually not too bad. I've dealt with worse. Phew, I don't need to widen the bed today. I was getting nervous there. I thought that's a good excuse. I could totally widen the bed. Why not? So thanks for watching this video, everybody. I hope it was valuable to you. If you liked it, make sure to let me know by hitting the like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe so you get more gardening content in your video feed every week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the garden.